In today's video, I'm going to show you how to build the perfect e-commerce buy box. And I can tell you this because over the past 12 months at my agency, we've worked with 7 and 8 figure brands to build high converting, high AOV buy boxes for any niche and any product you can think of: supplements, clothing, accessories, anything and every single product we've built buy boxes for that convert extremely well at a high AOV. Now, there are two things we need to consider when thinking about how to build a buy box that converts better and that has a higher AOV. And those two things are two of the categories I mentioned a lot, obviously, when talking about CRO, when talking about split testing. And those two things are the offer. So we have an offer that we need to build a buy box around. And obviously we have the presentation. So we have the offer, we have the product. We need to know and think about how we are going to present this offer in a buy box in a way that makes sense and in a way that helps us convert the traffic and the prospects. So those two here are the categories, two of the categories of the three categories I always talk about when mentioning split testing and how we do split testing for the clients we work with. The category that's missing here, the most important one, is obviously targeting. So what's the angle, what's the marketing kind of targeting you're doing to actually sell the product and sell your brand? Then you're obviously using an offer to sell to this target market, and you're presenting this offer to a target market in a certain way. And all of these three categories have their subcategories for what you can test, what you can actually do with split testing and with CRO. The one we're going to consider today, considering that you have your targeting in place, obviously, and that's working, are going to be obviously the offer. So we are going to consider the offer, and we're going to consider the presentation. Now, before even starting with presentation, we need to obviously know the offer we are going to sell. Without knowing the offer, without having in mind the offer you're going to sell, you obviously cannot think about how to build the buy box and how to present the buy box around it. So we need to have an offer in place. Now, I have a lot of videos talking about how you can build high converting offers. I'm going to leave some links here in the top right card. But when you have a good offer in place, it's not enough. A lot of people think that just having a good offer in place, obviously targeting is the most important thing. So you need to have targeting in place. You need to have the offer in place, but just having the offer in place is irrelevant if the way you present the offer is not good enough. Obviously, a good offer by itself can do a lot. A good offer by itself can help you incredibly when you're scaling, when you're growing your brand and growing in revenue. But if you present it well, that takes it to an even more extreme level. Like if you present your offer well, if you have a good offer in place and you present it well and you have a good buy box around it, that makes customers exactly understand what are the components of your offer, the perceived value, what's the actual value you're getting, what's included, what's not included, what you're attaching to the offer in terms of benefits and features, and what they're actually getting out of this, the experience they're getting out of the offer. If you don't present it well, yes, it can still work by itself if you have a good offer in place, but presentation, good presentation specifically, takes it to a whole another level. Like if you nail presentation, obviously you need to nail all of these three things to have an extremely good brand and an extremely good product and offer in place. But if you nail also the presentation at the end, specifically for buy box, remember that we're talking about buy boxes here, then you can take this to a whole another level. Now, ideally you have a good offer in place and you're thinking about how to display it properly in a buy box. And there are a few things we need to consider here. So in terms of presentation, the first and most important thing that obviously needs to be clearly visible and clearly understandable is pricing. That shouldn't even need to be said. A lot of the buy boxes actually I see out in the wild, I look at brands, when I look at their product pages or in general other buy boxes on their sales pages, for example, stuff like that, there's sometimes where pricing isn't clear, where they have maybe bundles, subscriptions, all of that stuff, and the prices change a lot and are very dynamic depending on what you select. And in some of these, in a lot of these cases, pricing is not clear, or it's hard to find exactly what you get for the price you're paying. So pricing is obviously probably the most important thing I need to consider when building a buy box. But pricing works around how you actually display the offer and what you're getting out of the offer. So exactly what's inside, what you're getting, what am I getting? Very, very important thing. In one of the last videos I posted on my channel, I was breaking down the product page from IM8, the supplement brand backed by David Beckham. And in their buy boxes, I mentioned that in one of their bundle offers, they had a welcome kit included with the bundle. And that welcome kit by itself was $56. And you got that for free if you subscribe to the bundle offer, to the Beckham, what they called the Beckham stack. And that line was basically invisible, buried in the subscription benefits. And that's a perfect example of absolutely missing out on all of the perceived value the customer or the prospect might be getting just by seeing that welcome kit that you get when you subscribe to the subscription offer. And that's a perfect example of customers not exactly knowing or understanding the value of what they're getting because it's just not shown well enough. So the offer was perfect, like the bundle with the welcome kit and all of that stuff you got was perfect, but the way they presented it was poor. And so a lot of customers would have missed out on knowing that with the subscription offer, they would have gotten the welcome kit and probably missed out on some of that recurring revenue that they would have gotten from people subscribing to the bundle offer. So knowing exactly what you're getting, obviously super important point about offers. Then we have anchoring. Anchoring is another super important psychological point. This could be related to pricing, but I want to dedicate a specific kind of section to it, because like when you do pricing well, if you can anchor your offers to something that's more expensive or kind of to give an idea of in comparison where does your offer place in terms of price, I think it needs to be a certain separate thing, because this anchoring is not just about your brand or not just about what you're selling. So if, for example, you have two products that are standalone and you have a bundle offer that sells the two together at a discounted price, that's a good enough offer. It could be an even better offer if you anchor it to maybe another solution, even another external thing. So one thing that comes to mind is, for example, something like AG1, where you have a lot of different supplements, a lot of different vitamins or things inside your product. And you can make, for example, a simple comparison between how much you would have to pay if you got all of these ingredients by themselves and if you had to take them by themselves, and all of the headaches that you would experience if you had to take all of that stuff by itself, instead of just paying for AG1, and just comparing those two things. Even if you think, for example, that AG1 is overpriced or it's too much for what you're actually getting, if you have some kind of level or price to compare it to that's higher, so in that case getting all of those supplements by themselves and taking them by themselves, then you can at least consider the fact that you're getting much more value for the price you're paying instead of just getting that other option. So it doesn't just work with what you're selling or just relates to the product that your brand is selling. You can expand this to just a whole another world where you maybe compare different solutions, different other products on the market, different ways of achieving what your mechanism provide, but that are less considerable option or less attractive options because of the value that you give them with your offer. Then obviously one easy way to make offers a lot more enticing is fear of missing out. So a lot of the kind of moat around offers, obviously it depends on what type of offer you're building, but fear of missing out is always something that's very strong and will always work from a psychological point of view on human beings. We're all human beings, so we all work the same way. Fear of missing out is something that we all experience. So a good part of how you, like if you have a good offer that has a fear of missing out part to it, if you present that well, if you use that well with banners, with callouts, with stuff like that, then you can obviously make the offer much more enticing. Now, to give you an idea of how you can use all of these points I've mentioned right here, if you have a good offer in place to present better your buy box and have a good buy box that converts, I have a few examples I want to go through here. I have a few examples for a few different niches. So I have clothing here, I have supplements, I have nutrition, I have some other things that we can look at here to look at good buy boxes that implement all of these things that we're looking at here. First one I want to start from is Woofs. So a good thing that they're doing here, and one thing that I was mentioning when talking about the offers and when talking about how you present, one of the points about how you present the buy box. In this case, what they're doing extremely well is that this supplement is, they're not angling the bundle, because these are bundles here. What they mean by the dog size, like here, what they're saying by dog size is they're saying there is a bigger quantity the bigger your dog is. So if you have, if it's between 65 to 100 pounds, then you need to get this pack right here, which has a certain pricing. If it's between 100 and 120, then the price is higher because the quantity is higher, but they're not marketing it as the quantity. So they're not telling you how much you want to get, because then it's on you to decide how much you want to get of the product. But here they angle the bundle size to your dog size. So if your dog is over 120 pounds, so you're going to obviously select this one right here, because your dog is over 120 pounds. They are tying your decision to what they want. They're not giving you the option of choosing the quantity that you want, because then you can freely decide to get less, or obviously to get less than you would need for your dog, but they're targeting it towards specifically one thing that you cannot decide, because if your dog is over 120 pounds, you're going to be choosing this option right here. And this perfect thing to have a higher AOV to get people to buy more of your product. Then they have here the frequency, so the supply, they're calling it supply, so they're not mentioning kind of subscription or how like all other brands would mention. They're mentioning supply and stuff like that. They're adding some kind of considerations that you would have about stuff like this, for example, that you would use on your pet, or for supplements that you use on yourself, or that you eat or take. So another important point here for the shipping from the USA warehouse, so somewhere close to you. The price anchoring, obviously with the monthly subscription, how you would pay for the one-time pricing. So with the subscription, obviously it's more valuable. And since here they're pushing a lot for MRR and for subscriptions, as you can see, the buy once call to action, they don't have another one-time purchase call to action or one-time purchase selection anywhere, but the buy once one-time purchase call to action is like a buried basically under the main call to action. It's in a line URL, so it's actually very difficult to see if you're on the page, if you're looking at the page in this way, because your attention is just taken from all of these things going on here in the subscription buy box. So adding here another kind of FOMO aspect, so the last point we mentioned in the presentation thing. So overall, a great buy box that implements all of the points we were mentioning when talking about good presentation of a buy box. Having another example here, similar kind of niche, but this time from Let Me Live, the supplements brand from the Kardashians. So here also same kind of angle for the subscription box. As you can see, the one-time purchase kind of buried in an align URL under the main buy box. They have the monthly delivery, 3-month delivery, and 6-month delivery. So here they're kind of tying in together the bundles with the subscription, so you could get the 1 bottle supply delivered each month, or for higher AOV they are structuring it this way where you can get a 3-bottle supply every 3 months. So it's still a 1 bottle every single month if you consider it in terms of numbers or in terms of quantity, but they're getting you to pay a higher AOV immediately on the front end. So higher AOV obviously for that. Call to action, obviously listing all of the subscription benefits, so you're convinced to go with the subscription instead of going for a one-time purchase, and the call to action is buried for that, so harder to actually access the one-time purchase. Another buy box I've broke down recently, actually, this one from Nectar Sleep, probably one of my favorite buy boxes I've ever seen. It's the way it's structured and the way they're including education and information every single part of this buy box without actually the buying experience, because what a lot of brands do, at least on product pages, and we're going to see an example from a sales page. On product pages, the above the fold should be dedicated for like purchasing and getting people to the buy box to buy and add to cart and go to checkout. And here they're still doing that. They're not hurting the checkout experience in any way, but they're still adding all of the important information you need to know, especially since the product is obviously a higher AOV than you would usually expect from all of these other purchases, which are in the range of $50 to maybe max $200. So obviously all of that is important. As you can see, compare call to action here in line URL to compare all of the options available, so you have more information. Most popular page, another thing that I haven't talked about. So if something is the most popular or is the best seller, is another angle of fear of missing out, of not getting the most popular thing or the thing that everyone is buying. As you can see, options clearly laid out. The feedback is good, the coloring is good, you know exactly what's selected, what you're actually getting. More education points on every single selection, so you get all of that information to make an educated decision. Pricing clearly specified for the additions. You have different materials and different things, and when the options are not what you would usually expect from a classic buy box, they have the inline URLs here to add even more information. As you can see, that's already the second one to describe what are hybrid mattresses. Then you have size selection, so by default queen size selected, always the total value showcased and the value you're actually paying, what I was mentioning with price anchoring. So they're price anchoring the total value to this figure right here, and then they're making you pay this. Size guide, another inline URL to help you with the decision, and then another section of accessories, the total value you're getting. They're clearly specifying that you're getting all of this value for free here. Mattress protector, sheet set, cooling pillows, they're clearly specifying it, showing you all of the value you're getting for free. And then near the call to action, since this high AOV product, obviously they have the affirm, buy now, pay later, and incentives if your product applies for this. So in this case, HSA, FSA for United States customers, but this in general is probably one of my favorite buy boxes of all time. Or everything is laid out neatly, perfectly, it's clear, the value you're getting is clear, all of the things you're adding with your offer is clear. So this buy box is very well structured. Then we have the famous Javi bundle builder. Now you probably have seen this one a lot. You've probably seen brands copying this. Me personally at the agency, we received a lot of requests from different brands to build buy boxes similar to this, or literally just copy what Javi is doing here. Obviously there is a reason for that. This buy box in general, the funnel is built extremely well. The buy box is laid out extremely well. So as you can see at the top, we have FOMO. So first off, this obviously on a sales page, you can use FOMO much more easy than on top. Other types of funnels here, they have a banner directly on top of the buy box mentioning, in this case, the Valentine sale with the free gifts, laying out the kind of bundles. So 4 bottles, 3 bottles, 2 bottles, and 1 bottle. As you can see, the 4 bottle is the default one selected with the best deal page on it. Also price anchoring with the price each you get with the different bundles. As you can see, the difference is pretty substantial. On the 1 bottle, you get them for $22 each. On the 4 bottles, you get them for $15 each. So difference per bottle quite substantial. Again, call out for the Valentine's Day special, so free gifts with your first order. And this section specifically also copied a lot from a lot of different brands out there. A lot of different funnels have the same layout for the gifts. So they're laying out all of the 4 gifts you get with their original pricing. So that's what's important. They are price anchoring it to their original pricing. So the recipe booklet is $10 and you get that for free. And all the other things also laid out in the same way with their original pricing and the pricing, and also the free page you get them with. Then they're calling out the subscription. So how much you save specifically on the first order with all of the free gifts. And then just like as the other buy boxes that we've seen, for in this case for mainly supplements and nutrition products, you get the inline CTA for the try it once. As you can see, with all of the stuff that's going on in here, all of the benefits you get there, it's very unlikely that a lot of people are going to see or click on this. This is what you do if you want to focus on subscription, if you want to get people on subscriptions for MRR. Call to action to select flavor clearly. Next step laid out clearly. If you have obviously funnels that are built on multiple steps, and like in this case with the bundle builder, and then the monthly subscription benefits. So this one in general, this buy box here, you've probably seen this out a lot, and a lot of different brands that have copied this layout, and there's a good reason for that. This one is laid out very well. Then we have here 2 buy boxes. First one from True Classic, second one from Simple Modern. This one is a perfect example for clothing. I think this buy box is built extremely well, especially for AOV. So as you can see here at the top, they have a structure that I haven't seen this done a lot. I think this is quite well built. So they have on their tea products, so they don't have a lot of different products, but on the buy box for that product, so in this case it's the straight tee, their normal t-shirt, they have 3 tabs at the top, so you can choose between created packs, so packs that the team has built already pre-made for you. You just have to select the size and how many tees you want, and then you get those, and the colors are already pre-decided, and you can select the different packs. So in this case you can get these colors right here, you can get these colors in this pack right here, you can get them all black, all white, or different colors. You just need to select the size of the tees and then the pack quantity, and then just add to cart. If you don't want this, you can build your own pack with the tees and the colors, and you can decide that by yourself. Or if you want singles, you want just to buy maybe 1 tee or just a few tees, then you can select singles in it. The buy box will change depending on what you select. Here at the top, I think this is a perfect example of how to not confuse customers. So what usually happens with brands, for example, this is a common example with clothing, where you have a lot of different SKUs because you have different colors, different sizes, different stuff like that. If you unite everything together in a simple buy box where you can get everything you want from a single point for the same SKU, and that just helps a lot with, instead of having customers and prospects going all throughout the store searching for what they're looking for, which can make this harder and can make obviously the customer journey far more complicated with too many clicks involved. As we know, the more clicks that are involved from ad click to checkout, the less people are going to convert. It's just how it is, just human nature. So there's a perfect way of structuring that and not confusing customers with too many different SKUs for essentially the same product. That's what you're doing here. And then this buy box from Simple Modern here. So here, what I like a lot about this buy box, for example, when we are talking about colors, like it could be the example of a tee here or of a tumbler. In this case, as you can see, they have only these colors laid out right here. But as you can see from this button here, they have 27 more colors that they're not showing you immediately. So you have less option to choose from. And when you're actually convinced to go through with the purchase, you can actually click through and go through all of the colors, and you expect like there to be as many colors as there are. I like the visualness here of the size selector, so they're not just telling you the size, which is what you would normally do with the selector, but they're also giving you an image or a kind of a reference for how big is the size that you're getting. It helps with expectations, helps to manage expectation and returns. And we have add to cart here, buy now, pay later. We have a few guarantees and risk reversals, and then immediately under that, we have the main USPs of the product. So for how long it keeps beverages hot or cold, and all of the main USPs for someone that's looking to buy the product. Also very important thing to have there in the buy box. But all of these examples so far have been product page buy box examples. One example I want to show here at the very end is a sales page example. So this one is a buy box from, this one is on a sales page of theirs where they're selling their main gut supplement. And as you can see, the structure here that you go for, this is also desktop, so it's very different from what you would see on mobile. But the structure you want to go for here is usually when you have these funnels that try to sell profitably to cold traffic, you're going to want higher AOVs on the bundles you're selling. So here they're focusing everything on getting you on the highest AOV bundle, which is $210, by price anchoring you on the price per bottle. So as you can see, the most prominent price is the price per bottle, and then under that, and in a smaller text, also smaller font size, you see the actual total price. So they're trying to price anchor you with the price per bottle, and then to try to get you on the higher AOV bundle. So this is the structure you would want to go for. Also, if you're selling on a sales page that's direct to cold traffic, like cold traffic clicks from the ad and lands on this, having the steps here at the top helps. So all of the steps you need to go through to actually get to the thank you at the end. And it helps with kind of progression and gamifying the checkout experience. So selecting your package, inserting your billing information, and then reaching the end of the order. Then we have some payment processors here to add trust and authority to the page and to the buy box. But yeah, these were a few examples of what I think are extremely well laid out buy boxes for different niches, different types of products. So if you take some examples of these and you apply the principles you see here, so clear pricing, laying out clearly what the customer is getting, like you can see in all of these examples, price anchoring and fear of missing out, then you can build an extremely well laid out buy box. That was it for today's video. If your e-commerce brand is doing over 60 to 70k a month in revenue, then with the first link in the description, you can book a free 30-minute audit call. And on the call, I will audit your funnel and your store to show you how we can implement our split testing strategy that has helped 7- and 8-figure brands increase their conversion rate, AOV, and overall profitability to allow them to scale easily in 2025. So if you want that, again, book a call with the first link in the description. In the second link in the description, you can get subscribed to my newsletter, and in the first email when you sign up for free, you will receive my 60-page PDF on how to implement that split testing strategy step by step, A to Z, for your e-commerce brand. See you in the next video.